Welcome to Conversations with the Black Girl Blogger podcast, where you will hear amazing human interest stories from everyday people. They will inspire you, they will encourage you, and they will help you to overcome all of what you are going through in your life. I am your host, Aisha Morgan, and let's meet today's guest. Today's very impromptu discussion was conducted outside, so you may hear some dogs, you may hear some people, you may hear some cars go by, but the information provided will be very useful to anyone who is considering getting plastic surgery. This is the experience of these two ladies and may not be what you or someone you know has experienced, but I think the information will be useful. Now, towards the end, we did get into a little girl talk, kind of go off script a little bit, but I still think even that information will be useful. So let's get into this interview, and I hope you enjoy it. Today we are here with Rashemia and Cherie. You remember Rashemia from episode 3 talking about being a surrogate, and Cherie and Rashemia are both my very good friends from high school. We have known each other for a very long time, and if you can recall, at the end of our interview with Rashemia, she told us that she had surgery on her breast. And today, that is what we're going to get into. We're going to talk about getting plastic surgery. So, Rashemia, why don't you talk to us about what made you get surgery and just tell us what type of surgery did you have?
So, I had breast implants, and all my life, I was an A cup. Even after children and breastfeeding, I was always I just went back to my natural A cup, and I really wanted breasts. I just felt like that was what I needed. And so I began the journey.
And so was there a process in deciding to get the surgery, or was it something that once you knew it was possible, you were just like, I'm going to get it?
Exactly. Once I decided, and I had been down that road before with Cherie, with her first surgery, I decided if we went back, I was going to get my breast done.
Okay, so Cherie had surgery before you had surgery.
Yes.
So Cherie, why don't you tell us what surgery you had?
So I had 2 rounds of lipo/BBL.
Okay. What was the first surgery that you had?
It was a lipo/BBL.
Okay.
So I went at 2 different times with 2 different cosmetic, 2 different places.
Okay. And how about you? Like, what process did you go to deciding you were going to get this procedure?
I think after I finally had my daughter, it was just, I was feeling very low and, looking on Instagram, at these models and, looking at my own self, it was just like, hey, I'm not happy. I want to do something about it. So I was like, I just start looking into cosmetic surgery.
Okay. And how did you find the right person? Like, what was the process of finding the right doctor to have your surgery?
So at that time, I was doing a lot of research, talking to some friends who have had the procedure done, talking to Shima, really investigating and just like narrowing down to like what doctor I wanted. And then I would follow them on Instagram or Facebook and kind of look at what they did. And then if I liked the results, I would be like, okay, I think I want this doctor. So that's pretty much what I did, just reach out to people and look on social media at the results they were given.
And join like different groups.
Right.
Like, so they have like these groups where they talk about the good and the bad of the place they went to, their results, and we just like followed those groups until we narrowed it down to say, okay, this is who we're going to.
So groups like on
like Facebook?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there like a specific name of the group, or is it just plastic surgery? Like, I'm in a group that's breastfeeding, but it's specifically for Black women. So how did you find like which group you wanted to pick?
So the first group I requested, it was called like Mia Aesthetic Dolls or something like that, and it's just basically all the dolls who had surgery at this facility. And then you have to ask to join, and then they accept you. And then from there, you just kind of look at the post and
Just be nosy.
Right. And then certain dolls would just invite you to other pages and stuff like that. And then for my second one, I did the same thing. You know what I mean? I think I went on, whose page did we go on? It was Brewster Dolls for me, right? Because he was my doctor. And then I just start going from there.
Okay.
So
I don't know how we started out with the original surgeon that we had. There's a doctor there named Dr. William, and remember we started following him, and then we started following his partner.
Okay.
And then the partner died, and then we had to find new doctors.
right.
Got it. So walk me through the process. So you find the doctor, you know who you're going to go to. Then how does it work? Like, first of all, before you go into that, where did y'all go? So right now, I know y'all are in Jersey. So did you find a doctor in Jersey, or was it more of the recommendations from the group? Y'all were willing to travel? Like, where did y'all go?
So we looked around, like we looked in
Philly.
We looked in New York, we looked at Goals, we looked at Delaware, and we looked at Miami. And of course, it was cheaper to just go to Miami and get the surgery done.
Okay.
So once we figured out
We're going to Miami.
right, it was just like, okay, let's pick the place and find the right surgeon for the procedure.
Okay. So once you figure out where you're going, so y'all went to Miami, when you make your appointment, is your flight and your accommodations, like your hotel and stuff, included, or is that something you do separate from your appointment?
So with myself, I did it all separate,
Okay.
right? I pretty much rented a townhome or something like that for a week.
Like a hotel,
Yeah. And then as far as a nurse, I use Shima.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And we just went from there. So the only thing I did was have massages done at the facility.
Well, hold on. So what I was getting at is that none of that is included.
No, so like you can go to a recovery house, but it's separate. Like the surgeon is just the surgeon. Like that's just where you're going to have surgery. So you have to book your own flight, your hotel. It's all separate. So you just pay them to do the procedure.
Got it. Okay. So now walk me through how it works. So now you schedule your appointment, and what do you do when you call them? Like, what is the process of that they tell y'all when you're talking to them on the phone from step one?
Well, everything, it pretty much was, even scheduling, you have to put down some sort of deposit, right?
Okay.
So I think when I did my first round, it was like a $250 deposit, right?
Okay.
And then that kind of, I don't even think I gave them a date at that time. It was just like, hey, I'm interested. I gave them the $250. And then I kind of figured, okay, I want my surgery for the summer, but I don't want it in the winter. So that's when I came up with April, right? So then I got with Shima, and it was like, okay, when are you free? So then she gave me a date, and then I pretty much booked it around that time. So then I gave Mia the time frame, and then pretty much just went from there.
So they send you emails. So your email is like your pre-op. You got to do blood work. You got to get a physical from your doctor. So
Clearance.
you do, like a clearance. So you get all that done. But in the meantime, you've already paid your deposit and you have a date. So now you're like getting all your stuff done, but it has to be done 30 days before your actual appointment.
Oh, okay.
Like it can't be done right away once you book it. So you're already booking, like I think we booked in, what was that, like December or October for April.
Got it. Okay.
And then, you have to get all that done, get your blood work done, make sure that your blood pressure is okay, your hemoglobin is good, everything like that.
Okay.
Right.
Do they tell you, like, when you talk to them, what could disqualify you from getting surgery?
It's like everything's in the email. It's not too much conversation on the phone. Everything with them is like email.
Mm-hmm.
So are there like pre-existing conditions, like if you have diabetes or high blood pressure, or if
like
you
some of that stuff already counts you out, because they're really, with that BBL surgery, it's really dangerous. Not really dangerous, but there's like high risk with that. So you got to make sure that you're healthy.
Okay.
So you can have a low hemoglobin, but then they'll say, oh, you have to purchase the cell saver, which is an additional cost, or you have to get it up to this. So it's like people drinking Hemoplex and taking all these pills just to get their hemoglobin where they need it to be so they can even have the surgery. Me and Cherie both have high blood pressure, so we just made sure we took our medications and we was, following these rules so we didn't get our appointment canceled, because that can happen.
Oh, so now let's just say...
So the first round, mine was 11.9. I think the minimum was a 12.0. Mm-hmm. So I had to pay the additional $500 for a cell saver.
Oh, wow. That's what I was about to say. Like, if you don't make it, then how does that work? So you come back. Like, you're paying for this if it doesn't work.
Right.
So what if it was something where you couldn't take medication to change it? Like, do you get your money back that you paid, or is it like because you have this condition you can't get the surgery and you get your deposit back? I mean, obviously y'all don't know because
deposit is non-refundable. Mm-hmm. But like, so say if you get there and they say they can't do your surgery, it's a way that you can pay the day before you have your procedure. So if they don't clear you, then you just don't pay the rest of the money, right?
Oh, okay. So you don't pay for it before you get there.
So when I went my first round, I think when I got to Miami, I still had a balance of $2,500.
Okay.
But I knew I wanted to pay it there just in case I got canceled. They wouldn't take my money. But when I got there, things kind of went... They took the wrong turn.
Okay.
Right? So... I got there, you get drug tested, right?
Okay.
So I take my drug test, and then it comes back that I tested positive for like MDMA. So I'm like, there's no way. I don't really drink, and I don't smoke. I don't do any kind of drugs. So they're like, well, did anyone, slip something in your drink at the airport? And I'm just like, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So... the day that we were supposed to get on the flight, which was 4:20 or the whatever, my sister gave me a brownie, right? I didn't even I took a
crumb.
A crumb of this brownie, right?
Yeah.
So we were scared to get on the plane.
Right. So I'm thinking nothing, right? So, we get there, we check in, we're fine, right?
Yeah.
I get to this place and they're like,
you failed the drug test.
You failed the drug test. And I'm like, there's no way. I'm here from New Jersey. You know what I mean? I can't.
Yeah, not do
this. Right. So they were like, look, we're going to see what we can do. So they was like, okay, you can try to flush it out. So this was on a Monday. Mm-hmm. So they're like, you can try to, drink water and try to flush it out your system and then come back Wednesday for the surgery. And it was an additional $1,500 because I failed the drug test.
Oh, my
goodness.
So
now, as soon as we leave the clinic, I'm drinking water. I'm buying cleansers. I'm drinking cranberry. Anything to help
flush it out.
Flush it out because I guess they said with MD, it can stay in your system for up to 3 days. Something they were saying, right?
Yeah.
So it was I'm just thinking I'm not having this surgery because how am I going to get this out my system?
Yeah.
So I had to drink water nonstop, and then I brought my own kit that was a 12-panel kit. So like I said, that was Monday. I went back Wednesday, but the day before that morning, I took a test myself just to see if it would show up. It didn't show up, right?
Okay.
So then I go back to have my surgery, and she was like, it was slightly the line where you could see it, but they still let me have the surgery.
Okay.
After paying the additional $1,500 and stuff like that. So I basically went back to the room, waited on the doctor. He came in, he marked me up, and
so before you get to Miami, so you went there on a Monday, did you meet your surgeon before your surgery Wednesday?
Nope, I met him the day of my surgery.
Okay. And
even at pre-op, I didn't meet him.
But at pre-op, did you talk about like did they already know what you wanted, or was that something that was done on Wednesday?
So pre-op is basically just going in, picking up your FI and your boards and stuff like that, and
doing your drug test, paying your money.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Right. That's it. It's not meeting your doctor or anything like that.
Okay. So then Wednesday, you meet the doctor, the surgeon. He comes in. You tell him what you want. Does he kind of have a conversation with you about the procedure, or does he...
Did you show him pictures?
So I am a fan of Alexis Sky.
Okay.
So I had all these pictures in my phone of Alexis Sky and her butt.
Got it.
And I showed them to him and was like, this is what I want to look like, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of girls may do like poster boards or, vision
boards of what they want to look like.
Of what they want to look like. I had it all in my phone.
Okay.
Where I was just like, trying to give them what I was going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he marks you up after getting the idea of what you want, and then what happens?
They come in and then they start giving you fluids and stuff.
Okay.
For your I can't think of the word.
The anesthesia?
The anesthesia, yep.
And that was it. And the next thing I know, I'm picking her up. Mm-hmm. And we messed up the first time. We rented a car, so she has to lay on her stomach. So it's like hard getting in the back of this Toyota Corolla. We didn't rent it.
Toyota Corolla, like a little 4-door.
And we didn't rent it, this little car.
It was like...
Yeah. We made it work, though, for the rest of the week. Because it was like you go there like 2 more times after. So I'm like laying Chucks down in the back. We got a shower curtain on the bed.
So y'all was in a Toyota Corolla after the surgery. So what do you do at the next 2 appointments after?
So the next day you follow up, right? Just to make sure that you don't have anything, no infection starting to happen, or,
blood clots,
or, you're not...
getting
too much blood is you want to make sure you're not leaking too much blood, or you need a blood transfusion and stuff like that. So when I went back, I got undressed, and he kind of just looked at my whole body just to make sure that it was going the right way, right?
Yeah. Sure you're draining out properly.
And then from there it was like, okay, you're good. And then that's when I started with my massages, because you have to start that right away. So
what did the massages consist of?
They hurt.
They hurt.
Yes.
It's like they're trying to get all the fluid out that's like in your body out these little holes. So they're massaging you and fluffing your butt and making sure that it's nice and it gets the shape that it's supposed to get.
So the massage is on your butt, or is it everywhere they had?
They don't pretty much touch your butt, right? But it might be like, for me, it was pretty much in my stomach and in my back and stuff like that.
Okay.
Right? But it's wherever the incision was, they basically want to try to get the fluids out, right?
Oh, okay.
So then you come home and still get massages too. Mm-hmm. How long did you get them at home, right? Like 4 weeks or 6 weeks or something?
It lasted a while, but I stopped them because it just got hard with work and everyday life.
So you have the surgery and you go in for your 2 appointments, and now you're ready to head home. So obviously you're on an airplane. Were you able to sit on the airplane?
No, you only can sit at landing and takeoff. So I kneeled the whole time.
Oh man. So you were like knees on the ground, face.
Yeah.
Okay. How was that experience?
Terrible.
Was it painful?
Because so the first time we did it, it was kind of like, okay, we didn't know what we was doing, right? So we flew Spirit, right?
Yeah.
Which that was like the worst experience ever.
Soul plane.
Right. So flying Spirit and trying to be on your knees, and the plane was packed. You know what I mean? So it wasn't
people looking, because when she first went, it wasn't as popular as it is now.
Right. So
people looking like, why is she not sitting down? What's going on?
Yeah.
And I'm carrying this booty pillow. It was just like, whatever. So it was a 3-hour flight, and it was just horrible.
Yeah. So then you get back home. And what's the process from there? Like, do you have to go see your own personal doctor? Do you find somebody here to do like checkups?
No, I pretty much just found someone that did massages and stuff like that, and just got in touch with them. And then she was out of Philly, and then she would drive to Millville and take care of me.
But you never had to go back to the doctor?
No.
Once you're done, you're done.
But did you feel like you should? Like, I feel like you should go to the doctor.
You get your checkup the next day, right?
No, like, why would I?
I don't know. I've never had surgery.
No,
like,
no. Go back. So,
I'm not
once
gonna
you
go
leave
back to my
Miami, it's
primary.
over. So,
Right.
like, you have your surgery on Monday, whatever. You go back Tuesday, and I think again Wednesday and Thursday,
Yeah.
they check you. And then, like, they tell you to stay there for a whole week just in case.
Okay.
But you don't stay for a whole week. Everybody comes home in the week. Like, we did stay until Saturday, I think, because of the way her surgery was. And then we came home, and it was find somebody here to do your massages, and that's it.
But you don't, like, if you were in Miami, would you have had to go back to him or no?
No.
Okay, got
Regardless, you don't follow up again.
No. Not unless there was a serious issue where I need a blood transfusion, or
She started feeling sick, or she was having hard lumps in her surgery or anything, then you would follow up
okay.
if there's a complication.
right, but there wasn't.
Okay, so now you've experienced your first time. You know all the things you did wrong.
Right.
You go back the second time. So how was the second time different from the first?
So
Did you go to the same doctor?
No, I chose a different doctor. I chose 305 Plastic Surgery, where Dr. Bass was going to be my surgeon, but then he died of a heart attack during the pandemic. So, of course, here I am, deposit already giving.
Yeah.
And now we're looking for another doctor, right? So I was looking at Dr. Brewster as well, and it just so happened that once the other doctor passed away, that he came on board with 305.
Gotcha, okay.
And
so that was your new doctor.
right, that was my new doctor.
Was
right?
this place, did they have the same procedure as the last place that you went to, where
I
you
pretty
did
much
everything?
did the same thing, gave them the deposit, they sent us clearance papers and, blood work and stuff like that. Saw my doctor, got cleared, and was on my way back to Miami.
Okay,
for my
so
second round.
when you did the second round, was everything the same when you got there? Was this a different procedure because you went to a different place, or was it pretty much the same as your first experience?
It was pretty much the same. This time I knew what to do and what not to do, so it was a little smoother. I don't think I had any complications with my second surgery as far as failing drug tests and, or my blood pressure being too high or anything like that.
We just had to take COVID tests, which we were panicking about because, anything could happen from home to there to make sure you have a negative COVID or they don't do your surgery.
The only thing that went wrong is we got there on a Saturday and our coordinator was like, we were trying to call you. You can't have surgery Monday. You have to have it Wednesday, right? Now I'm leaving Friday, right? But I'm having surgery Wednesday.
And I wanted my surgery to be before her surgery. So, her to have surgery before me. So that way she could be settled in at least one day in, and then I have my surgery.
Yeah.
So, luckily her mom was there and her mom's friend. So it worked out and I got mine first. And since I just had breasts, it wasn't so bad. And then she had hers the next day.
Okay. So you get your surgery. Now, you did the BBL, so you knew what you were expecting because you had already done it. How about you, Shima? Like, you got your breast done. What was your procedure like before, and then what was it after?
So, like I said, we did research on the doctors. At first, I picked Dr. Brewster with her. I was like, I'll just go to him. His breasts look pretty nice. But then they acquired another doctor, Dr. Salas, after the other doctor had passed away. And I was like, I really like his breasts, his real natural. He had his own private practice. I just felt more comfortable with going to him. So I switched my doctor. And I had already paid my deposit, got my, I didn't get the clearance, but I got my clearance. And you go there, you go there, they call it pre-op, where they tell you how to take care of yourself after, because after they don't talk to you, so you're not going to know what's going on the day after. So they tell you how to take care of yourself and what you need. And the doctor called me that night, and I just like explained to him what I wanted, and he let me know, like, you're not going to get double D's, because I'm like, well, that's what I wanted. He said people that have really big breasts like that, they have had multiple surgeries. So I was like, okay, well, give me the biggest you can with, my body size.
Right.
And that's what we did. So I went in for surgery. I was there like all day, I think, right, Cherie? Mm-hmm. I didn't get out there until like 9 o'clock at night. I went in at like 10 o'clock in the morning. And you're just like waiting around literally all day. So that was like annoying. And then I think I went in for surgery at like 6 o'clock, and I was out by 9.
Got it.
So they come in, they mark you. We had another conversation. He told me, I'll make you symmetrical. I'll give you a little bit of cleavage. And I was just like, okay, I felt real comfortable. I felt like he was a good doctor. We had a good conversation before, laughed a little bit. And then, I went in, they started my IV, and I went in for surgery.
So Shima said that she had to wait. Is that the same experience you had when you did yours, that you went in and your appointment was at this time, but you didn't get it till later, or was yours like right on?
I waited.
You waited?
I waited because I think when I went back, there was someone getting theirs done, right?
Okay.
And then they have to clean the room and all that. Then you have to wait on the doctor. So I didn't get out till
like 6 o'clock.
And but I went in that morning.
Oh my goodness.
And it's only like a 2-hour surgery or something like that. Then you go to recovery. But yeah, it's just basically waiting to have the surgery.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So how did you feel when you were in there? So what does it look like? Like, are you in, like, you see it on TV, and they're in these like nice little spa looking places, and they're in their own individual rooms, and they're just, it's like, it seems like they get it done immediately, but was that what it looked like in there?
The facilities are nice, right? It looks like a doctor's office or something like that. And then once you go to the surgery room, it looks like a operating room, right? So all I remember seeing was like equipment and the bed, and then they're like, lay on the bed, and then they just start
you're
hooking you up
before you even know it,
right? So I was asleep before the doctor even came in. Like, I just remember like, okay, give me your arm, we're hooking you up, and gone.
And then that was it.
And then you just wake up to.
So the next day when you have to come for your appointments, are y'all like in your own little rooms, or like, how does that work? Is it like going to a doctor's office to do like a regular checkup? Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your aftercare, Shima? Because Cherie had to get massages.
I just had, so each doctor is different. So when you wake up, you have on this bra, like this like surgical bra with buttons in the front, and you wake up like that. But each doctor tells you how they want you to care for it. So this doctor didn't want me to wear the surgical bra. They wanted me to wear like this band across the top of my breast.
Okay.
So I didn't have that. So we're after we riding around trying to find like a store, but in Miami there are like a bunch of stores, but what's open because it's COVID.
Right.
So I wound up finding a store that had like, all the accessories for after cosmetic surgery, and I was able to buy the band that I needed to just wear every day. That band, and you wear like button-up shirts so you don't have to put your arms up,
right?
Because you can't really like lift your arms above your head for a while.
Okay.
And that was it. I did that I couldn't wear an underwire bra for 3 months. I really just started wearing bras maybe 6 months ago.
Okay.
I was just kind of wearing sports bras if I needed to put on a bra. And then I started wearing no underwire bra because my incision is underneath the breast.
Gotcha. Okay.
On the bottom. I have silicone implants.
Okay. So now y'all are done. You're recovered. How do you feel? Like, are you happy with your procedure? Cherie, you went twice. So were you not happy the first time, or did you know that what you wanted was going to take 2 procedures?
I think I know what I wanted and what I wanted to look like would take more than one procedure.
Okay.
Even after my second procedure, I still wanted more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
We were just going back.
right. I think I just stepped back, looked at it, and was just like, I'm done with it for the time being, because it was just,
Do you feel like you were addicted to it?
yeah. I felt like I was addicted to a certain image. Like, I really wanted to look a certain way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was to the point where I was like, maybe I want Botox, and maybe I want this, and
Yeah.
breast. Like, I just wanted the whole works. And I didn't care, like,
How much?
how much, right,
time?
I'm going to do it, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was just sitting back and realizing, like, okay, you got to move past that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, even today, like, what do I want more? Yes, but would I do it again? Probably not. Not right now.
How about you, Shima? Are you happy with the results, or are you going to keep going till you get...
Some days I look in the mirror and I'm like, Cherie, I want them bigger. I want my full double D, because that's what I originally wanted. And then I look again, I'm like, oh, no, they're big enough, because I look at other people and I'm like, I want my shirt to look like this, or I want to be able to look like that. But I felt like now at this point, I'm happy. Like, I'm satisfied. I don't think I will go through it again.
Do you think even not necessarily your breast, do you think you would get plastic surgery for something else, or are you good altogether?
Yeah, I'm good altogether. I'm afraid to get the BBL, so yeah.
So Cherie said already that hers was more about like social media, just throwing these images at you like constantly, and you just feel like you're supposed to look a certain way. You have a daughter, you have daughters. How would you feel if your daughters later were like, I want to get, even if it's not a BBL or breast, like I want to get my nose done, or I want to get liposuction, or I want to, who knows what's going to be popular when they're at that age. I mean, Leah's kind of close, but to where, she would maybe want something like that. But would you want them or support them in getting surgery?
I would support it. Like, I'm sure that my daughter is going to come to me and ask for a breast reduction.
Oh, okay.
Because right now she has big breasts, so I'm sure that that's going to happen. And I mean, I guess I would support it because they supported me. Like, my kids knew what I was going through. They're not babies, so they knew what was happening when I came home. They knew what I went for.
Yeah.
So I think I would be okay with that. I wouldn't want her to walk around like how these moms are with looking crazy, but if it was within reason, I was totally support it.
Okay. And Cherie, you got a long way to go, but how would you be okay if she wanted to alter her body in some way?
I think I would be, because I know what it feels like to really want something or do something.
Yeah.
And you don't have support. You got to figure, like, my mom did not support it at all. Both times I went, she was totally against it. And my husband was just like, you don't need to do it, right?
Yeah.
But he never said don't do it.
Yeah.
Right? But...
And I think that is one of the biggest things that's a misconception, is that when people get plastic surgery, they're doing it for a man, whether it be to get a man, to keep a man, or because a man wants them to do it. And a lot of times that's not the case. Like, people want it because they want it. Like, It's about yourself. It's not about other people.
Right.
And, I feel like it's kind of similar in when you have a baby and you see all these people on social media snapping back, and you feel like, well, what am I doing wrong where 3 months ago she had a baby and now she's walking around in a swimsuit and I'm sitting up here can't fit any of my clothes? Like, social media has created this this fake reality of, not even reality, a fake image of what people look like,
and
or should look like.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And then when you also see like these people who have had very little followers, then they change the way they look,
and now it's boom.
And then they get all these followers, but then underneath it's like, oh, she had surgery, she this, she that. And then you look at the old stuff and it's like, oh, her nose is this, and she's flat-chested, and she don't have no butt. Like, who wants her? So then you had the people who's mad that she got the surgery, but you was just talking about her because she didn't have a shape.
Right.
So then when she goes and changes her shape based off of the comments people make about her, now you want to talk about her because she did that.
People are going to talk regardless, so you just got to do what makes you happy at the end of the day.
Right.
Because people are going to talk regardless. Like, I started working out. My butt looks really good. I keep getting asked, did I get my butt done?
Yeah.
I didn't. I've just been trying to work out. Like, I want to enjoy the body that I have. Like, I am so in love with my breasts.
Yeah.
Because that's something I wanted all my life. I never had.
Right.
So I would only have them when I'm pregnant, and then they're gone right away. So I started working out, like, to just enjoy myself. I'm getting older too. Like, you need to work out and stay healthy because I know I have high blood pressure. I don't want that to be, my reason for going down. But people are going to talk anyway. They're going to talk whether you do it, whether you don't. It's always going to be somebody talking. So you just have to be happy.
And I think too, like, people don't realize how much their words like affect people.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, she doesn't need to do this because she don't have no chest anyway, or she
the
don't
man
have
not
no
going to
butt
want her anyway,
or,
even if she get the surgery. So then it's like,
people are going to talk about you, like you said, regardless. But I still think that, like for me, everybody's always seen me fit. Like, I always work out, always eating right. And then when I had my baby and after, I think that people really felt like I was about to deliver my baby and then have a six-pack like the next day. And it's like, possible. Oh, wow, like, you look good. And, like, I know that tone. It's like, I thought you were going to be smaller. Like, what have you
look
been...
good, but...
Yeah, it's like, have you been working out? Like, hell no, I ain't been working out. Like, what do you think? So, like, I do think when people say stuff, like, they don't realize how far that goes with people, especially when you're consistently saying it, like, over and over and over again. Like, I know people right now who call me, like, skinny. And they're like, compared to last year, you small. And I'm like, I had a baby last year.
Right.
Like, literally a year ago. So I would really hope that I don't look like the way I looked when I delivered my child. So... yeah, I do think that, like, the reason why I'm not vegan has to do with me breastfeeding, but it also has to do with the fact that right now I just don't care. Like, that's just not where I'm at. And I'm okay with it. And other people are like, oh, so you eat meat? When I want to, but 90% of the time, no, I don't.
Yeah, it was a shocker to see you eat meat. I'm not gonna lie. But to each his own.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, like, everybody always is like, oh, well, you haven't been posting workout videos. So what? That don't mean I'm not working out.
Right.
Like, I have other things going on now that I'm focused on. So, yeah, I think that, social media gives this perception. Even me, just posting workout videos, people have this perception that I'm like some like
workout guru,
workout fanatic, where I'm just like, every time I turn around, I'm like lifting weights or something, and that is really not the case. Like, but yeah, so
that's why I just try not to be on it as much, or to like sit there and obsess over it, right? Because it just gets you to the point where you're just like, okay,
I want to do this.
I gotta do this. And then I'm calling Shima, and she's just like, no, you're 40. We're done with that. Like, let it go. You know what I mean? And then I really have to sit there and say, she's right. You know what I mean? Like, it's a certain time where you just have to just
come to the reality that this is the person you are, and that's the person that they are, and it's just not gonna ever be the same. Like, I was talking to my sister this morning, and I told her that because she was like, I need to clean out my closet, wait until I lose this weight. And I was like, you know what I did? I said I had size 8s, 12s, 10s, and 14s in my closet. The 8s are gone. Like, I know I'm not ever going to be an 8. And if I do get to an 8, it's like not on purpose. But I said I threw away, I donated all my size 8s. Right now, at that time, I was a 14, so I need those clothes. But I kept my 10s and 12s because I'm like, I feel like that would be my neutral
Right.
Like size. Like I know that without really doing much, that would be my average size. So I'm like, don't wait to do it, because then you're like holding on to this stuff that's not where you are. Like you're not gonna be at that place anymore. Like you said, we're 40. That's just not, for me, that's not my goal, is to be that small.
Right.
And like I said, if it ends up happening, it just happens, but it's not going to be on purpose.
Do you like your weight that you are now?
I do like my weight right now, but I would like it to be distributed a little bit different.
Okay.
And then because of my fibroids, like my midsection is like up and down. Like some days I'll look like I'm 3 months pregnant, and then certain days I look like a regular person. You know, my stomach is not flat, but it's not poked out.
Right.
Okay.
So my fibroids kind of hinder a lot of what I feel like is progress, because I'm just like, is this my fibroids, or
is this just weight?
Yeah, like, or is this my weight? And then the next day my stomach will go back down.
I noticed too, like I can't look at numbers.
Yeah.
Like the numbers really throw me off, because I'm like, wait, I weigh that much? How?
Oh,
like,
I haven't weighed myself in I don't know how long.
I just stopped. Like, I mean, I went to the doctors until they told me, and I'm like, what? Well, how is that possible? But I just know, like, as long as I'm happy with what I got going on, I just don't pay attention to the numbers.
Yeah, I've never been a person to weigh myself. I just go by how my clothes fit.
No, I really had to get on the scale.
Why?
Because it was just like, lately everyone's like, are you lifting? Are you in the gym? You're getting bigger. And, you know, I feel it, but I'm like, what is going on here? Because, I mean, just last summer, I was a size 2/4.
Yeah.
You know, and now here's this summer, and I'm in a 10 or, you know, a 12. So I got on the scale, and that number was just like, wow.
But I think, too, like, we have to give ourselves some kind of forgiveness, because we just lived through something that was traumatic.
Right.
Like, whether people want to believe it or not, like, we've all been traumatized. Like,
Definitely.
we've never had to be forced to make changes so fast for so long. And
it was just everything, like a whole
uproot. That was like a big change. And that, like, I mean, I go to therapy anyway, like I was telling Shima last time, but I, like, talking to my therapist, and I just was like, I'm not at that focal point of, like, the way I look, like, as far as working out. Like, I feel like now my focus needs to be, like, my emotions, like, mentally, because I'm so exhausted. Like, worrying about Kingsley, taking her out in public, and, like, hoping that you don't get something, you know, and you see these kids that get it and don't make it out, and I'm just like at the beginning, we didn't take her out anywhere.
Right.
You know, if we went to the store together, she just stayed in the car, and we would, like, go back and forth. Like, I would get what I need to get, come back, he would go get what he needed to get, and then we would leave. And then when I did start taking her into the store, it was just like anxiety. I'm like, I'm in and I'm out. Like, I'm not about to be lingering in the grocery store. Like,
anxiety
that's it.
played a big part on everyone through this pandemic, and it's just...
So, Cherie, don't beat yourself up, because the schedule that you just told me you had to do, I'm pretty sure that had a lot to do with it.
This is Cherie's happy weight right here.
But I mean, I feel like that had a lot to do with it.
It does.
Her schedule has
right.
a lot to do
the
with
scheduling
everything.
And just life itself.
Maintaining.
And like you said, like my daughter being 3 and my oldest being 17, right?
Right.
It's just too much going on.
Give yourself forgiveness and just focus on finding some self-care practices to make yourself happy, because that has been like my saving grace, where I'm just like, whatever. And then, of course, Jamel's like, I like the way you look. I'm like, well, I'm okay with it, but I got some work to do, but I'm not going to focus on it right now.
We're our biggest critics. That's
right. Because, like, my husband was like, you do not need your breasts done. And I'm just like, screw you.
I want my breasts done.
I want my breasts done. Right? And then I finally was just like, you know what?
I was surprised when she said, I'm not
canceling.
going.
I'm not going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like,
yeah.
You know?
It's tough, but hopefully this next year things will go back to some sense of normalcy and we can create routines that work for us and find some self-care. I mean, I get facials, I get my henna done every month. Like every week I have an appointment just for myself.
That's good.
And I wish I could do that.
You can do it. You have to just figure out how to schedule it.
Yeah.
And literally, like, my appointments are usually an hour. That's it. Like, you know, you get a massage, you get a facial another time. My henna takes about 45 minutes, and I just sit there. I don't think about anything. I'm just talking to her. I've been going to her for like a couple years now, so we talk about all kind of stuff. And then I go home. But for that time,
you just have like an hour of just
my
relax,
time,
like unwinding,
Yep.
which is really good.
It is. So, and then now, like, my skating, I have that time where I'm literally just focused on skating. I mean,
and that's what I've been telling Faustino, like, look, I need, like, once a month, I need something to myself where I'm going to get a room or I'm doing me. Like,
yeah,
kids are on you, I'm gone. You know what I mean?
it's important.
So,
because then you don't realize, like, how much you put on your own shoulders, and then you don't focus on yourself because you're so busy worrying about everybody else.
Right.
And then
The
when
house,
you
the kids,
realize,
the husband.
like, I'm done with y'all. Like, you don't want to get to the point where you're frustrated. So when you take that time and you know it's coming and you have that opportunity, you kind of have that, like, even keel, like, you know what? In 4 hours, I'm about to be getting my henna done, so I don't even care about anything else. Like,
Right.
I'm just going to focus on getting through these 4 hours so I can get to my appointment.
right.
So that's going to be our goal, Cherie.
It is. And
Self-care.
I'm gonna hold y'all to it. I'm going to make sure you figure out something once a week, though, not...
They say it like it's so easy.
Cherie, it really is, because, like, if you know they can go with their sister for an hour at some point, be like, look, can you just take them for an hour? And you can sit in this house and not do anything. You can sit out here and not do anything, but it's just time for you
An
to
hour of
just...
decomposing.
Yeah, go sit in the bathtub or sit in the shower, you know, take a shower and not have to worry about somebody coming in.
Right. So, yeah.
Just simple stuff. Or go to Kirsten's house and be like, I'm just going to sit in your house and you sit in mine.
So let's start slow.
Right, because Kirsten, she'd be like...
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, you know. But let's wrap up this interview, y'all. I really appreciate you taking the time to tell us all about this surgery. Hopefully this information will help someone else and encourage them, or at least give them insight into helping to make their decision on whether they decide to get the surgery and the steps that it will take to go through with it.
Thank you. Thanks.
And that's a wrap on another amazing episode. I know that you were just as inspired as I was after listening to that conversation. And to let us know how we're doing, don't forget to leave us a review, like, share, and follow the podcast. Also, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at The Black Girl Blogger, and check out our website, www.theblackgirlblogger.com. And the most important step, make sure you share the podcast with someone you know and tell them to share it with someone they know. And if you know someone who has an amazing story to tell, or if you yourself would love to tell your story, leave us a message on our website or any of our social media platforms so we can reach out to you and have you on the podcast. Until next time, peace out.